Welcome back. It's Jen with Parmele, and we are visiting again with Blake Leach from our VA team. Today, we're on part 2 of our discussion about sleep apnea and how that can relate to your VA disability claim. So let's just kind of do a quick refresher. There are conditions that worsen and cause obstructive sleep apnea, OSA. And what that is when the airway collapses and it becomes blocked during sleep. Typically, probably one of the most common of the two forms, sure. Right? Yep. Snoring. That's what it amounts to, right? Let's talk about some of the causes of obstructive sleep apnea.
There are a lot, and it's very important that if we list yours, that you can understand that that can be the link to getting sleep apnea service connected. These that we talk about, these have to be service connected prior to you getting sleep apnea secondary to these. You can't get a secondary issue if you're not service connected for the primary issue, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep, total sense. Okay, so let's look at the first one, obesity. Most common cause, sure. Overweight. Unfortunately, we hit our 40s, our metabolism stops, and I think sometimes goes in reverse. Yep. And that is going to make you snore or cause breathing issues when you're asleep, right?
Yes, and I will mention this can be a secondary issue to something else. I've got a friend who he's currently applying for obesity secondary to a knee condition.
Okay.
His knee condition prevented him from being able to be as active as he needed to be. And so therefore, he's applying for obesity secondary to a knee condition and then applying for sleep apnea secondary to obesity. Essentially, sleep apnea is a tertiary connection secondary to obesity.
So I guess that's really important to note. Absolutely. That when you're talking with us on the phone, don't leave out anything. That's right. Because it could be caused by something that you are or may not be considering applying for.
Yep.
There's linkage there, correct?
Yep.
The next one kind of goes along with the whole nasal throat issue is deviated nasal septum or polyps.
Yep. Believe it or not, a common thing that's causing this is someone when they get their nose broken in the service. This is now a diagnosis, and we can link that to your sleep apnea or that to a broken nose and then sleep apnea.
The third one is tonsillar or adenoid hypertrophy, hypothyroidism.
Yep, very common once you get older.
And that leads to swelling in the neck area, which, is going to put pressure on that and cause the breathing issues. We're also looking at congestive heart failure and then chronic nasal congestion.
Congestive heart failure is very common, especially those are in Vietnam era. That congestive heart failure is connected to either ischemic heart disease or coronary artery disease. So therefore, we have that tertiary again. Coronary artery disease would be more difficult to show causation to sleep apnea, but if congestive heart failure is a diagnosis, then we can connect that to sleep apnea.
So now let's switch gears. We're going to talk about central sleep apnea, CSA. It's caused by your brain failing to connect the proper signals, send and receive those that tell your body to breathe. Let's talk about a few things that go along with that. Heart failure.
Yep, that usually leads to some kind of stroke.
Mm-hmm. So that's number 2. It disrupts the brain centers that control breathing, that just tell your brain, okay, take a breath. Don't forget to breathe.
You are 100% rated in the VA, and you are saying there's no way, I have all of these, and there's no way I'm going to reopen my claim. I would ask that you go get your wife, pause this video, and have her watch this, because it's very imperative that you apply for these things we're talking about, even if you're already 100%, because if you're not 100% for 10 years and then you pass away, then your spouse gets no benefits unless the cause of your death was service related. Well, if you have congestive heart failure and you have a stroke or you have any of these things which cause your sleep apnea, and one night you just don't wake up in the morning, well, they're going to say it was from sleep apnea, and you're not service connected to sleep apnea. Well, now your wife doesn't get any benefits because you died of sleep apnea and it wasn't service connected.
So definitely it's worth making a phone call. What
Absolutely.
Can it hurt, right?
Yep.
Also, we can talk about Parkinson's disease or multiple system atrophy. Those are neurodegenerative conditions that affect your automatic controls that, again, signal your brain to take your breaths while you're sleeping, correct?
Yeah. I mean, like you already said, the CSA, the central sleep apnea, is not talked about a lot. It's not known a lot, but it's definitely there, and that's probably why, is because you don't realize you wouldn't have had a sleep study and they don't catch the CSA part or for whatever reason, and it's not there.
Opioid use, chronic narcotic use, that can also contribute to it.
That is one of the number one things that are not addressed. He is really good at passing out opioids, but what they're not good about is telling you the side effects. Well, a major side effect, along with the others, are sleep apnea. So if you've been on opioids or narcotics prescribed from the VA, prescribed for any reason whatsoever due to another service-connected ailment, there's the causation.
And renal failure, which alters your blood chemistry and your respiratory regulation. So those are all some big ticket, big word things that you need to be aware of, that you might want to mention to your physician, that you might want to look into when you're considering connecting sleep apnea to your disability complaint. What are some other diagnoses that might have contributions to this?
Yeah, a very common one is type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
As many of us know, if you were in country Vietnam or in the inland waterways or within 50 miles of the shore, then you've been exposed to Agent Orange. If you've been exposed to Agent Orange, I think it's like 40% of all Vietnam veterans deal with type 2 diabetes. If that's you and you have sleep apnea, there's that link. GERD is a common one, especially for us younger veterans. I feel like I am as much anymore, but that's pretty common in the Gulf War syndrome. And then COPD or asthma, that's just one of the things that can lead to sleep apnea.
So how do we go about linking this to your disability claim?
Essentially, we're sitting down with you and we're discovering all these conditions and all these links. We'll do the heavy lifting here. If we represent you with Parmele, we're going to find all the ways to link those. We'll help you guide your doctor in what they need to understand they're saying. A big terminology you may have heard is it's more likely than not. Essentially what they're saying is a 51% chance or greater that these are linked. That's all we need.
Get several mechanisms that link PTSD to sleep apnea.
Around 20% of all service-connected veterans have been diagnosed with PTSD. Is that a big number? That's 1.4 million veterans so are service-connected with PTSD. That's a big number.
That's huge.
We want to cover real fast how PTSD can cause and those links, because it's really difficult to go to your doctor and say, can you say that my PTSD is caused by sleep apnea? If you just go at them like that, they're going to say, no, I can't say that. But we can help you find different ways to make that.
Let's look at some of the ways that we can do that. Hyperarousal and sleep fragmentation. I'm sure as a veteran, you've experienced horrible sleep. Talk about that.
We can go on a rabbit trail and speak for 20 minutes on this. Awakenings through the night, nightmares, difficulty going into the REM sleep can attribute to that. And that's how that link happens. And I would say it's very important. You may not want to do this. You may not be good at it, but keeping a log, sleeping log of all these. That way you're not just going to your doctor and say, I wake up all the time tonight. You want to be able to go down with some hard evidence. And that can also be used in your adjudication of your claim to help with that process.
You know, I think there's two important things. One is your log doesn't have to be this huge, intricate, descriptive thing. A piece of paper on your nightstand that, okay, it's 2:20 and I woke up again because I wasn't breathing or whatever. Also, with all of the modern technology that we have, and I don't have one, but I know Apple Watches, if you wear those when you're sleeping, there are so many programs on there that can track that. You can review it in the morning and it'll tell you, you only slept for 2 hours or you were awake 25% of the time. So there's a couple of options that can help you with that. It doesn't have to be this super confusing map or chart that you have. It's just a simple note that says, I was awake at this time or I woke up multiple times during the night.
The next one we'll talk about is weight gain. We kind of already talked about this before. Weight gain due to PTSD medications or the lack of being able to just cope with society. So I would encourage you, again, you can even go back and create your own continuity of symptoms by showing, here is my weight log over, and you can just go in your medical records and get that.
Right.
Every time you go to the doctor, what do? First thing they do, they have you stand on a scale.
Yeah.
First thing I do is take everything in my pockets so I don't weigh as much. Just be able to show that to your doctor to help understand that, hey, ever since I started on the PTSD medications, I started having this weight gain. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to help them make the case as much as possible. Doctors are very busy. They don't have a lot of time. If you help them do their job, they're more apt to help you. Nervous system deregulation. Yeah, so your body's all connected, including part of that is your nervous system. I think back whenever I was in grade school, we have that like picture of a human, all their nerves all connected, right? The red ones and blue ones or whatever that was. That might be blood, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. All this is connected, and all that's connected to your brain. So when you have PTSD and you're dealing with so many different symptoms of stress and different things that are going on through your life and different things that will just mess with you, that's all going to affect your sleep. This is all going to be on that CSA, not obstructive sleep apnea, but the one that has to do with your brain and the nerve system. That can easily cause that.
And lastly, substance abuse and sedatives. We kind of talked about this.
Yep.
If you're using opioids, alcohol, sedatives to cope, that can lead to depressed respiration and the ability to sleep.
Yeah, and just real quickly, I'll speak to that one too. I see this a lot in alcohol abuse. A lot of people will turn to alcohol for their PTSD issues, unfortunately. And believe it or not, you can have that as part of as an ailment that you're service connected for, the alcohol abuse. It's something we can guide you through and help you understand how that can all happen, and we can help you put all those links together.
We have covered so much information in this session. Let me give you a technical tip. When you're watching this on YouTube, right below the video, there's going to be a section that says more. If you click on that, you can get a transcript of this. So that might be helpful if you're going through things. You can be like, yes, I do have this. You can print that out. You can write down the notes of what we're saying. That might be helpful for documenting stuff and just deciding what you want to do. If you decide you're going to move forward in linking your disability claim with PTSD and sleep apnea, call us at Parmele Disability Advocates. Our VA team is trained on this stuff. There's a lot of weeds here, and it can be so confusing and overwhelming. And we are more than happy to sit down on a no-cost consultation with you and help you process this and determine what do we do, where do we go from here. If this video has been helpful to you, please give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and also share this with other veterans and other people who would find this information useful. One thing that we've found is that the more we talk about things, people just pop out of the woodwork and they're like, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. And so we're doing everything we can to bring these issues to light so that we can help as many veterans as we can as quickly as possible.
Quickly is key. Again, I'm going to reiterate real fast. We're running out of time for sleep apnea claims. Get them going as soon as possible.
We can help you with that. Call us at 866-889-2570. Thank you so much for joining us today. A lot of great information. Thanks for being with us, Blake.
Yep.
Have a great afternoon.